Hey, it's Rich. Welcome back. I just finished my 51st week on Wegovy. So far, so I have no idea. I had a medical procedure this week, so everything was up in the air. So I can't tell you how it went this week at all. I'll get into it here. So stick around to the end to see what my weight loss was, but it doesn't matter this week. So this week is all up in the air. The reason is that I had a colonoscopy, and that caused no end of changes to how I needed to act this week. The first thing I needed to do is I needed to take my drug early, and the reason is that Wegovy, the way it works and the way the semaglutides work, is that it slows down your digestive system. Well, if you're going to have elective surgery, or if you're going to have a colonoscopy, which is nothing, by the way, guys, if you haven't had a colonoscopy before and you're avoiding it, what are you waiting for? It doesn't hurt. It's no big deal. It's a little discomfort when you're taking the medication, the drinks to cause you to go to the bathroom. But you know what? You go to the bathroom anyhow, so you know what it's like. It's just that you have to go more often, and quite a bit more often. You're going all the time for a little while. It's no big deal, and the benefits are huge. If you aren't familiar with colonoscopies, what they do is they cause you to drink some juices. I use Gatorade, put some powder in some Gatorade, and drank it down. Went to the bathroom a ton, and then the next day they did an inspection with a little procedure. They put you out. You don't remember anything. You don't feel anything. You don't feel anything afterwards. Some people may feel a little discomfort afterwards, where they have they're a little gassy or something like that. But it's really no big deal. And the benefits is if they find anything small, they take care of it right there. And if they don't find it, if you don't do it, it can turn into cancer and kill you. So it's one of those things that is incredibly treatable. The preventative side is huge, and the downside, if you don't do something, is huge. So do you want just a little discomfort that you have to go to the bathroom a couple of times more than you're used to? Maybe, or do you want to go through cancer treatment? What do you want to do? My suggestion is have the preventative, get it done. Not a big deal. Toughen up a little bit. And afterwards, just say, wow, that was nothing. All right, enough of that. Let's talk about why I'm talking about it today, though. So one of the things is that because it's semaglutides, or Wegovy in particular, slows down your digestion, that there's stuff in your stomach and your colon and all that. And so, for them to do a colonoscopy, they need that all cleaned out. And so typically, for any kind of elective surgery, you would stop eating the day before. And for a colonoscopy, you would take some medication to clean out your colon, and you'd be clean as a whistle, and they could go in with their camera and they could see everything they need to see, and they say, hey, and send you on your way. The problem is that semaglutides slow everything down. And so it's very difficult, or at least I experienced difficulty having it be as clean or as empty as they wanted it to be. That's pretty normal, actually. And so what they tell you is don't take your semaglutides drug more than a week within the procedure. So what I did is I took my Saturday drug last Saturday. I took it last Thursday, so a week ago Thursday, thinking that would be enough, because that would be 8 days instead of 7. And then what I also did is I fasted 2 days instead of the 1 day they require. So they require the day before the surgery that you fast. And I fasted the day before, knowing that, I'd read online that some of this stuff slows it down, and, I wanted to be doubly safe. Well, it wasn't enough. And I had to, I knew going into the procedure that it wasn't enough. And I was telling them, I don't think it's complete. And they said, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. Well, afterwards, the doctor said, yeah, you did a fair job on the prep work. And I think that means bad. I think that means a failing grade. I don't think they want to ridicule you when they're talking to you, but I think what they're trying to tell you is it wasn't enough. And so they've given me steps if when I have the next one, which will, I guess, 10 years from now or something like that. It's not a big deal. Um, Whenever the future one is, that I have to do more. And and I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to stop the semaglutide or Wegovy long before the procedure, and to make sure that everything's cleaned out. And it got me thinking, what happens if I have other elective surgeries? Because the colonoscopy, they just kind of sedate you. They just kind of make you go to sleep a little bit. You're just barely on the edge of sleep. You don't remember anything, but you're not really full of sleep, which is okay. But if you're doing a full elective surgery, if you eat before, you have the potential of aspirating some of the stuff in your stomach into your lungs, which is really, really bad, because then you can get infections. You have all kinds of problems after that. What happens with all these things? If I've experienced that, backing up a week of taking it, so making sure it's been longer than a week before the elective surgery or the elective procedure, and fasting a couple days wasn't enough. That tells me that there's a problem here. So I was looking online, and they're saying, a lot of doctors were saying there's a problem here, that you have to really worry about that. So if you're going to have elective surgery and you're on a semaglutide, or you're on Wegovy or Ozempic or any of those drugs, you really want to have a strong conversation with your doctor about the fact that you're on these drugs and what do you do. And I think you have to be really careful, because you don't want to be taking you don't want to have food in your stomach when you're doing elective surgeries. So I mean, there are some people online, some doctors online, saying they just treat people on these kind of drugs as having eaten, like what they deal with when they deal with emergency surgeries, right? When you do an emergency surgery, you don't know if the person's eaten or not, so you just have to assume they have. It's a danger, and it's one of those things that you don't think about when you're signing up for the drug. And everything went fine for me, but it was a problem with me completing my prep work for the colonoscopy. I think it would be a more serious problem if I was doing a real elective surgery where they had to sedate me and worry about the aspiration problem. Just want to make you aware of that. Anyhow, by the way, I am not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I just wanted to share my personal experiences and a little bit of what I saw on the Google. Um, so anyhow, let's move on. What do you call an alligator in a vest? What do you call an alligator wearing a vest? An investigator. Okay, your kids are going to love that one. My mom is getting older, and she's thinking back about her life, and she's lamenting about this or that, or worrying about this or that. And I said, Mom, just embrace your mistakes. She gave me a big hug. All right. You didn't come to hear me talk about jokes. You came out to find out how I did. Again, I was did a colonoscopy this past week. I was fasting a couple of days. I took the drug a couple of days early. Yesterday, after the procedure, which went perfectly fine, I ate myself silly because I was so hungry. And in the middle of the night, I got up and drank water. And by the way, if you know me, you know I don't drink little glasses of water. I drink 32-ounce tumblers, and I fill them up, and I go, rump, and that's it. So I was down as part of the colonoscopy prep. I was down 12 pounds at one point, but as of this morning, after drinking and eating all that stuff yesterday and drinking all night, and actually drinking a glass of water this morning before I weighed in, which I never do, I'm down 4 pounds. I have no idea if that's real or not, or next week I'll be back to where I was, or if I'll be able to maintain the slight weight loss. But I'll take it, and that makes me down a total of 88 pounds since I started the drug. We'll see you next week.